Have you ever wondered if a small act of kindness could change your life? For one taxi driver, a simple, honest decision did just that, echoing across the globe in a way he never could have imagined. This is a story about how integrity, when no one is watching, can sometimes put you in the brightest spotlight. It was just another Tuesday for Samuel, a taxi driver who knew the streets of New York City like the back of his hand. The city buzzed with its usual chaotic energy, a symphony of honking horns and distant sirens. For Samuel, each fare was more than just a ride. It was a brief glimpse into another person's world. That afternoon, a well-dressed passenger hailed his cab, a man with a kind but weary face, lost in his thoughts as they navigated the concrete jungle. The ride was quiet, a comfortable silence shared between two strangers. They arrived at a sleek, glass-fronted building in Midtown. The fare was $67. The passenger handed Samuel a crisp $100 bill, said, "Keep the change," and quickly stepped out, his mind clearly somewhere else. A $33 tip was a great start to the evening, a welcome bonus in a tough gig. Samuel smiled, ready to pull away. But as he glanced at the cash, his heart skipped a beat. Tucked behind the 100 was another $100 bill, folded neatly. It was an easy mistake for a distracted passenger to make. $133. That kind of money could cover his groceries for the week, maybe even a new pair of shoes for his daughter. A wave of temptation washed over him. Who would ever know? It was an anonymous city, full of fleeting moments. Samuel looked at the building the man had entered. He thought about his own father, who always said, "Your character is what you do when you're sure no one is looking." He sighed, the internal debate lasting only a moment. He couldn't keep it. It wasn't his. He put the car in park, grabbed the extra 100, and ran towards the building's entrance, hoping to catch the man before he disappeared into the labyrinth of elevators. He found the passenger just inside the lobby, talking to the receptionist. "Sir, excuse me, sir." Samuel called out, slightly out of breath. The man turned, a look of surprise on his face. Samuel held out the $100 bill. "You gave me too much," he explained simply. This was stuck to the other one. The passenger stared, first at the money, then at Samuel, his expression shifting from confusion to genuine astonishment. A slow smile spread across the passenger's face. He shook his head in disbelief. I don't know what to say," he stammered, taking the bill. "In this city, that's remarkable." He reached into his wallet to offer Samuel a proper reward, but Samuel just shook his head. "Your original tip was more than generous, sir. Have a good day." He gave a small wave and turned to leave, feeling a quiet sense of satisfaction that was worth more than any amount of money. Life went back to normal for Samuel. He drove his taxi, picked up passengers, and paid his bills. The incident faded into the background, just another one of the 1,000 stories that played out in his cab. He never expected to see the man again. But a week later, as he was waiting in a taxi line near Central Park, a familiar face approached his window. It was the passenger, but this time he wasn't alone. Behind him was a small group of people holding cameras and microphones. Samuel's heart pounded in his chest. Was he in some kind of trouble? The passenger, whose name he now learned was David, tapped on the window with a wide grin. "Samuel, right? I was hoping I'd find you." David explained that he was a journalist, a storyteller who specialized in finding and sharing tales of everyday humanity. He had been so profoundly moved by Samuel's honesty that he couldn't stop thinking about it. He wanted to share the story. Hesitant at first, Samuel eventually agreed. He wasn't used to the attention, but David's genuine enthusiasm was infectious. They filmed an interview right there in his taxi. Samuel spoke from the heart, not about being a hero, but about the simple principles he lived by, the lessons of integrity passed down from his parents. He talked about the pride he took in his work and his love for his family. He was just an ordinary man who had tried to do the right thing. The story, a short segment on an online news channel, went viral. It was titled, "The Taxi Driver Who Returned $100." Millions of people watched it. Comments flooded in from all over the world, from London to Tokyo, from Snow Polo to Sydney. People were inspired by this simple act of honesty. Donations began pouring into a fund David had set up for Samuel and his family. The initial goal was a few $1,000s. Within days it surpassed 100,000. Samuel was overwhelmed. His life was turned upside down in the most beautiful way possible. The money was life-changing, securing a future for his children he had only dreamed of. But more than that, it was the messages that touched him. People shared their own stories of kindness. A small, honest moment in a New York City taxi had created a global ripple of positivity. It all culminated in a special ceremony where the mayor honors Samuel with a key to the city, not just for returning the money, but for reminding everyone of the quiet power of integrity. Samuel stood there, his family by his side, a humble taxi driver who had become a symbol of the good in the world. His story is a powerful reminder that you never know how far a single act of kindness can travel. It proves that character isn't just about grand gestures, but about the small choices we make every single day. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content that celebrates the best of humanity, and share this video to keep the ripple of kindness going. We'll see you in the next one.